Right, let's get straight into some Leagues Cup action, starting off with this clash. It was in the quarterfinals. Columbus, Herc, this is your pick to win it all if it's an MLS team, which we now know it will be one. They ended up winning 4-3 on penalties, just edging NYCFC after it finished 1-1 in regular time.
Yeah, Patrick Schulte back into the mix. He had not played for Columbus since before the Olympic Games. Comes back, his place is taken, and gets it back, and it's Columbus. Columbus, by the way, at the hand, or I should say head of Cucho Hernandez, advances.
Next matchup now, it was Mazatlan of Liga MX. They were enjoying a fairy tale run, but they came up against the Philadelphia Union. This was an pretty much identical score to the Columbus NYCFC game. They finished 1-1 in regular time, and best believe they had to go to penalties, Herc, but you should have known. My boy, that Andre Blake does not concede. What did I say?
You did say it.
What did I say?
You did say
Not
it.
one, but two big boy saves. That's my boy.
Yeah, Andre Blake, big time performance in the shootout. Mazatlan's going to be kicking themselves. They were up a man in this game. Should have done more. Could have, should have, wish they could have, right?
Yeah, such a shame for Liga MX. And then, Herc, what happened here in this one? Because your beloved Sounders got absolutely thrashed 3-0 overall in their quarterfinal against LAFC.
Yeah, why don't you say what I said last week? I also didn't trust the Sounders in this one. You didn't mention one? Oh, come on.
But it does sting. It does sting.
Yeah, Kai Kamara, excuse me. Another goal for LAFC. This man's like 48 years old, keeps scoring goals. It's a tough one to give up. And then right here, Meek, you're not catching him. Look how strong he is. And Denny Boanga just always.
Oh, man.
Is that another assist for Luis? Unbelievable.
Anyways, here's this interesting one now, man. Our eyes were all on this one because Mauricio Pedrosa sold me the Club America dream, but guess what? They lost 9-8 on penalties up against Colorado Rapids. Talk about sufriendo, because they were actually up in the penalty shootout. Things were going so well until Zach Steffen made that very crucial save for that last kick that would have taken Club America through. Then they just kept going, and Zach Steffen, yes, he can save, and yes, he can score again. And unfortunately, their keeper couldn't either. So Colorado Rapids are the ones that do get to go through. And Mauricio Pedrosa, as we know, is a liar like so many men in my life.
Who's worse in their picks? Mauricio Pedrosa or Jose del Valle? It's been one after the other. My God, somebody
one
show
after
face.
The other.
Somebody, I demand they show face.
Well, this is how the semifinals quickly are looking. All MLS showdowns, Columbus, Philadelphia. I know, Herc, you said that Columbus are your pick, but you know who I'm pulling for in this one. And then LAFC against Colorado, who are looking like they could pull off a little sneaky upset, maybe. We will see. Anyways, we need an explanation because, like I said, I'm tired of men who just lie to me. Mauricio, you sold me on this Club America dream. I was already ordering my jersey in the mail.
Yeah.
And ¿qué pasó? Fracaso total, Mauricio. What happened?
First of all, you should keep your trust in men. Sometimes we make promises that then we have to take back, but this is not the case. And I'm sure your confidence in men is not tainted because of what I did last Thursday. That being said, I will gladly pay for the America jersey that you ordered. I hope you keep that order in place. I will very, very happily take charge of that. And then I will expense it, of course, to Football Americas. I still have the show, so that shouldn't be an issue. But hey, this is just one of these cases where, accidents happen. It was just a bad night at the worst moment possible. I keep hearing a lot of people saying, listen, Club America was extremely good. They just lacked a clinical, calm inside the box to score, but they created a lot of chances. They created some chances, right? Colorado did as well. It was a poor performance by Club America. There's just no other way to put it. And it is indeed a massive, massive fracaso. Because when you lose against a very so-so team like Colorado Rapids, all due respect, but I mean, they have nothing to do compared to the Club America. Nothing. Not one player from Colorado Rapids would start in Club America. You have to label it as what it is. It's just a massive failure. Now, that being said, I don't believe that locker room, the players, the coaching staff, the day after we're still going, oh, we're so sad, we're not going to win League Cup. They're going to move on, and then they're going to fight to win the third league title in a row. But it's not what you want to see from the best team in the region, from one of the best teams in the whole continent. And it was just a bad night at the worst time possible.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold it against them as being a fracaso. I'll tell you why. It is so difficult to win a title, let alone two, to go back to back. When you win one in Mexico, it's one season every 6 months. To win two, that means you go from having a week break right into another regular season. On top of that, they had a double season in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which they did not win, but it's more accumulation of games in their congested schedule. To go on and win that season and now try to do this in an international tournament with no preseason, and you're starting your season and there's a game every 3 days, these players hit a wall. I've got no issue with them losing. I, in fact, applaud America for being the only team in Liga MX that said, this is a fracaso. We hold ourselves to a higher standard, and we lost. It doesn't matter what happened, we lost. And here are the things about this loss. What makes it so much worse, and given what I said, okay? Given what I said, an excuse that I am giving Club America, this wasn't a case where Colorado brought you into a sold-out Colorado pro-home crowd and you died in that altitude. It wasn't a case, okay, where you missed 100 chances, they scored their one, and they advanced. It was the opposite. It was a case where the few chances you did have, you completely squandered in a pro-America away venue for Colorado. You brought them out of Colorado into Los Angeles in a pro-America venue and lost this way with one of the most criticizable players that America can have in Igor Lichnowsky missing a penalty kick. And then who I think is the heartbeat of this team, and Luis Malagon, their goalkeeper, being the guy that ultimately misses and has them bow out. And the worst thing here is, it's the first time in America's tenure that I am questioning Andre Jardinet, the head coach, in his decision-making, in what he did or did not do in this game. Why take out your most dangerous players in this game? Are you trying to send a message? Are you trying to protect them from some type of injury? It was just the weirdest thing, and I think he got too cute, and it cost him. In terms of a fracaso, it's a fracaso because it's America, and they hold themselves to that standard. But I do agree with Mao that this was one of those games where if Brian Rodriguez is a bit sharper on this night, he nets that open volley that Richard Sanchez gives him, and they're going home.
Just very, very quickly. Again, no excuses. This is bad. This shouldn't have happened. But Brian Rodriguez has played important minutes in League Cup. He was on his way out of the club after the second title. Oh, sorry, my computer is playing along with my thumbs. Hey, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm sure the guys at Mac don't have the technology for half a thumb. Let's take a look. Mac. Oh, I'm gonna put a complaint. You should have half thumb emojis as well. Here we go. I cannot believe it. Anyways, I'm going off the rails here. I was gonna say, Brian Rodriguez is gonna start. He played 40 minutes. I don't think America has still learned how to live without Julián Quiñones, and you can tell that was the case. When Henry Martin is not up to his standard as he was on Saturday, there's no other player with the responsibility and talent and the
Rodrigo Aguirre was injured, but he would be somebody.
Exactly. No, but he wasn't available.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of factors that you combine, you put in the mixer, and the result is just what happened. But it is bad. Some teams
credit to Colorado. I don't want to talk about ill about Colorado in the way that Mauricio did. Credit to Colorado. I think it's getting lost here what they did.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, man. They're not as good.
Well, let me ask both of you this then. because we spoke about it last week, and of course about the Liga MX, whether they were prioritizing this competition and then what it does to the competition if they're not. And look, there's a lot of football to be played, so we understand that, you know, you have to make rotations and whatnot. And there was only two teams left, Mazatlan and of course Club America. We were hoping at least Club America could, you know, make a good run for it, so it wasn't just heavy MLS. But how big a loss is this now then for the League's Cup to have lost them this early, I suppose?
I mean, it is very big. I'm sorry for jumping here, Herc, but I just want to say how bad it is because we have this eternal conversation and debate, right? Which league is better? Or we know the answer. That's still Liga MX, but is the gap really closing up on Liga MX? And I think it is. And again, I think that's proof of that. And I know a lot of pundits, experts, commentators keep insisting, well, this format favors Major League Soccer teams. If they would go and play a second leg in Mexico, then it would be a different scenario, different result. Maybe. But what you're saying is that you actually need the perfect conditions to come back and play and have a result that you feel you're supposed or you're entitled to. If we cannot face adversity, and by adversity is play in a different country, but with a very favorable crowd, and the results are just not there, then I think it's pretty clear that all things we've been insisting on why Liga MX is in a downhill trajectory right here. It's inexcusable. It's inexcusable to have this competition and just have worse results than last season, because at least you had Rayados playing in the semifinals. Now you have 0 teams playing in the semifinals representing Liga MX. So I think it speaks volumes of how Mexican soccer is right now.
Yeah, let's talk about Leagues Cup for a second and Major League Soccer and how they need Liga MX. I mean, if you wanted any type of interest in the semifinal round or final, not at a regional level, but mass numbers, you needed Club America to get to the final. You needed Club America to the final versus anybody. I don't care if it was Columbus or Philly. That was your best opportunity of drawing massive numbers for this event. They're out. The Golden Goose, out the window. That no longer exists. There's a reason you do this tournament if you're Major League Soccer. It's because you want the allure, you want the light, you want the eyeballs that Liga MX brings. It was only 2 teams. The other team in this competition for a semifinal was Mazatlan. Ain't nobody watching Mazatlan. They could have made it to the final. That would have been worst case scenario. You needed Club America, and Club America let Leagues Cup down. They let MLS down. They let Liga MX down. But certainly if you're Leagues Cup, the organizers, you're saying, man, if there was one team I wanted in this final, it was Club America.
No one's watching semifinals outside of the U.S. Nobody's watching in Mexico.
All right, well, massive loss there then. So let's look ahead now to the semifinals. As we know, they're set, Hurricane. And so far, at least some of your picks are there in terms of Columbus, who you did say that you favored.
My 2 are still there. I said 3 of them are still there. Philly, Massa, and
Philly.
Columbus. Oh, sorry, not Massa.
Exactly. But
Excuse
Columbus,
me,
you
LAFC.
didn't pick it. So
well.
we destined, based on how the 2 teams are going, are we destined for an MLS Cup rematch in terms of Columbus up against LAFC, and who could probably have the edge? Or do we see Philly or Colorado riding this momentum and maybe springing an upset?
Listen, I think I'm in the minority here in saying I think we're going to see a rematch of LAFC versus Columbus. I think to my left, I have 2 pro-Philly aficionados. I think you both appreciate the way Jim Curtin goes about his business and the very workmanlike team that they have and how they grind out results. And Andre Blake, which is arguably the best goalkeeper in CONCACAF for my money. I think you guys like that about Philly. I'm not sold on this Philly. I am sold on LAFC and what I see from LAFC and Olivier Giroud coming into that. I like the way they are playing. Denny Bouanga is at a lights-out level when it comes to this tournament. Steve Cherundolo, he now has this team playing more of the way he wants to play. And it doesn't matter who he puts into that lineup, he's getting the best out of those players. Versus a Columbus team that I think is the upper echelon of Major League Soccer. The most elite team they can have, certainly for winning games, But most of all, when it comes to an aesthetic value, the way they play, I think, is appreciated by a lot, and it's very, very effective. And in that team, I speak highly of Denny Bouanga. I think he's the game changer in Leagues Cup. I really do. I think he is that player. Cucho Hernandez, maybe the singular most talented player I've seen since Sebastian Giovinco. He's that talented of a player, plays as a 9.5, can facilitate, can score goals. I think Columbus is stacked anywhere along that front line, whether it's Diego Rossi, whether it's Cucho Hernandez, whether it's Christian Ramirez starting or off the bench. Wilfred Nancy just knows what he has, and this team plays in a spectacular fashion. I don't see how it cannot be these two teams.
I agree. I love what LAFC is doing in terms of roster building. I think it's a very complete team. It's hard to find hole in this lineup. Even the subs play at a high level. And the thing about LAFC is they can beat you in several ways. They can actually have the goalkeeper long passes, 70-yard passes, finding Denny Bouanga and scoring. And when you have that kind of depth, you become hard to beat. And that's what LAFC is looking like right now. I agree with Herc of all the qualities with Columbus, and I think Rossi and Cucho make a fantastic tandem of attacking players. Also very versatile. They can adapt, they play off each other really well, and it would be a very even final. Now, I still believe the way Stevie plays, it's really hard to figure out. You have to score fast. You got to score first, because then the game can become slower, dense, not really attractive. Yeah. But that is exactly what Philly does to you if you don't score quick on them. If you don't put a lot of pressure in the first 15 to 20 minutes. I think Columbus, they have the quality to do that. They have the talent to do that. I think it's gonna be tough. But honestly, man, I kept saying and insisting that Club America is really good. A class of CONCACAF, you got to put LAFC up there, because whenever Olivier Giroud is ready to become a regular starter, that's probably going to be an unstoppable team, and they should be favorites to win it all.
All right, so we're both going for the rematch.
Are you? What are you going for, Alexis? I'm curious. I feel like you want to say Philly.
She's got Philly.
I want to say Philly. I want to say Philly. I want to say Philly. I don't necessarily 100% believe it. And I am just literally hoping on a goalkeeper right now. And if you have to do that, it's
when it's 90 minutes and penalty kicks, that's a massive thing to have as a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen quite a few penalty shootouts going on, so clearly that could be a theme. But anyways, Mauricio Pedrosa, thank you so much as always.
What number do you want on your America jersey? Because next time around, I don't want to see you wearing another jersey that is not Club America.
I thought you were a San Luis fan.
I'm waiting for it.
But she wants a Club America.
So I'm
just trying to be a good friend and not be one of those lying men that she hang out with, apparently.
Exactly, Mao. I don't want any more men calentando mi oreja. I want to see them talk the talk and walk the walk. Yeah. So I'll wear my Club America jersey, and I promise I will try and do it justice.
You got it.
Well, if you want to see more of Mauricio Pedrosa and company and where he's saying all the truths and no more lies, you can tune into Ahora o Nunca. It's Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time on ESPN Deportes and YouTube.